Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into the world of short stories. I think you'll find this one right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're all about getting to the heart of things quickly, no fluff, and that's what short stories are all about.
Absolutely.
We've got some great excerpts from a text all about short stories,
Okay.
and we'll be exploring what makes this unique form, well, tick, from ancient storytelling to modern masters like Hemingway.
Sounds good.
So tell me, do you enjoy reading short stories?
I do. I do. Yeah.
They're often seen as these, quick reads, but I think there's a lot more to them than that.
Oh, for sure. One of the things that really defines short stories is, I think, this focus on brevity and economy. It's all about a single plot line and,
Mm.
using language in a very precise way to create this immersive experience.
I like that. Precise language, like a surgeon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Source text also uses some really interesting terms, things like epiphany, psychological depth, and unity of effect. What do those mean?
Well, let's see. Epiphany is really that aha moment when a character has, a sudden realization,
Mm.
a change in perspective.
Mm.
Psychological depth, on the other hand, is really getting into the character's head, their motivations, their fears, their conflicts,
Okay.
all within this short form.
Right.
And then there's unity of effect.
Yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe was a big proponent of this idea. Every element of a short story should work together to create a single effect on the reader.
So, like every word choice, the setting, the characters, they all contribute to this one overall feeling you get as a reader.
Exactly. Just like a perfectly composed photograph.
Makes sense. And speaking of impact, I think you really, as a learner, you really value those aha moments.
Totally. Those moments of sudden insight.
Yeah, yeah. And it seems like the structure of a short story is almost made for that kind of impact.
Absolutely. It's designed to deliver those realizations in a very concentrated, powerful way.
Okay. Let's talk about characters. I'm always so fascinated by how authors can create such vivid characters in such a short amount of space.
Yeah, it's a real skill. I mean, short story writers, they can't waste words. Right. They have to be economical.
Right.
So they might use, just a few well-chosen descriptions. Subtle actions, even what they don't say, can reveal a lot about a character.
It's like they give you these little glimpses and your imagination fills in the rest.
Exactly. It's all about inviting the reader to participate in the story.
That's really interesting. It reminds me of Hemingway's iceberg theory. How does that apply to short stories?
Oh, yeah. Hemingway believed in showing, not telling. He said a good story is like an iceberg.
Okay.
Only the tip is visible. The rest is hidden beneath the surface. So in his stories, the dialogue, the actions, they're just the tip of the iceberg.
So the reader has to kind of dig deeper to uncover the meaning.
Right. It's all about subtext and implication.
So what's a good example of that?
Well, take Hill Streets. Like White Elephants, for example.
Yeah.
On the surface, it's just a conversation between a couple at a train station.
Okay.
But there's so much going on beneath the surface. Unspoken tension, anxiety. That's the real story.
So it's about reading between the lines.
Exactly.
This idea of economy of language makes me think of another thing short stories are known for. Surprise endings. Twists. Why are those so effective in this shorter form?
Well, because everything is so concentrated. The buildup is so intense. That final reveal can completely change how you see the whole story.
It's like a rug being pulled out from under you.
So thinking about all these elements, how did this short story evolve over time? Where can we see the roots of these techniques?
Well, believe it or not, the roots go way back to ancient oral traditions. Stories like 1001 Nights or Aesop's Fables.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah. These stories were passed down for generations, captivating audiences with their simple wisdom.
That's incredible.
It's in the 19th century that the short story, as we know it today, really started to take shape.
And authors like Edgar Allan Poe and Anton Chekhov were key to this development. Poe, with his, dark and atmospheric tales, emphasized unity of effect. And then you have Chekhov, who brought a sense of realism and psychological depth to his stories.
So Poe focused on atmosphere and impact, and Chekhov on character and realism.
Exactly.
And then we jump into the 20th century. Writers like James Joyce, Franz Kafka, and Catherine Mansfield, they really pushed the boundaries, didn't they?
Absolutely. They were pioneers. Joyce, with his stream of consciousness technique, got right inside the character's head. Kafka, he explored these themes of alienation and absurdity using really surreal imagery.
Yeah.
And Mansfield, she had this amazing eye for detail, capturing these subtle nuances of everyday life and relationships.
So many different styles and approaches. It's like they opened up all these new possibilities within the short story form.
Yeah,
And then, of course, we have writers like Raymond Carver and Alice Munro in the latter part of the 20th century.
right. Their work is so powerful. Carver, with his minimalist style, captured the struggles of everyday life. Ordinary people facing difficult choices.
Yeah.
And Monroe, she explored themes of memory and identity. But what's really fascinating is that even though their stories are rooted in a specific time, they still resonate with readers today.
It's like their stories are timeless in a way.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the history and evolution of the short story, how it's gone from ancient tales to these complex modern forms.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the nuts and bolts.
Okay.
What are the structural elements that make this form so unique?
Well, why don't we start with the introduction and the setting?
All right, those opening lines are crucial. They set the stage for everything that comes after.
Yeah.
The author has to grab the reader's attention, establish the tone, create a sense of place, all in just a few sentences.
That's a great way to put it. Like a magician's opening act.
Yeah.
Setting the stage for the magic that's about to unfold.
Exactly. And then there's the setting itself, which is so much more than just a backdrop.
Right. You can create atmosphere, mood, even foreshadow events.
Yeah, it's like the setting becomes a character itself.
Yeah.
Adds a whole other dimension.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have the conflict.
Oh, right.
The engine that drives the story forward.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Exactly. Conflict is what creates that tension. It's about characters facing obstacles, making choices, dealing with consequences.
And in a short story, that conflict is like even more intense.
Yeah, it's more
So
concentrated.
it's like a pressure cooker.
Exactly. Amplifies everything.
And all of that leads up to the climax.
The climax is that peak, the point of highest tension where everything comes to a head.
Where the conflict kind of explodes.
Right. Often a turning point for the characters or the situation.
So then we have the resolution, the denouement, is that how you say
Did
it?
you know? Yeah.
Where everything gets tied up?
Well, not always.
Oh, really?
That's what's so interesting about short stories. Unlike novels, which often have these, neat and tidy resolutions,
Right.
short stories can end very abruptly,
Mm.
ambiguously leaving the reader with questions.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Makes you think.
exactly. It's about prompting those aha moments you were talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Those insights that stay with you.
You keep turning it over in your mind.
Right.
Which brings us to symbolism and imagery,
Yes,
which play such a big role in creating those layered meanings.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Symbols and images can convey so much, complex themes, emotions
Mm-hmm.
in a really concise and evocative way.
It's like a secret language almost.
Exactly. A way for the author to pack a lot of meaning into a single object or image,
I like that.
like a visual shorthand.
Okay, so give me an example.
Okay, so imagine a setting sun, right?
Okay.
It could symbolize the end of a day, of course,
Yeah.
but also the end of an era, a loss of innocence, even the fading of hope.
Wow, that's powerful.
Or how about a broken watch? Could represent lost time, the inability to escape the past, even the fragility of life itself.
It's amazing how a simple object can hold so much meaning.
Right, and because short stories are so compact, every detail, every symbol matters.
It all adds up.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why they're so rewarding to reread.
Mm-hmm.
You can always discover new layers, new interpretations.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion.
I like that.
Speaking of peeling back layers, let's bring this back to our listener.
Okay.
They love clear structure, engaging delivery.
Right.
And the structure of a short story is like a finely tuned machine, isn't it?
It is every element working together to create a satisfying experience.
In a limited amount of time.
Exactly. And this economy of form, this focus on precision and impact,
Yeah.
is, I think, one of the reasons why short stories are so well suited to our modern lives.
Our busy lives.
Right. You can immerse yourself in a whole world, experience a full emotional arc, all in a single sitting.
Like a concentrated dose of storytelling.
A potent distillation of human experience.
That's a good way to put it. And as we wrap up this deep dive into short stories,
Yeah.
I'm struck by how this seemingly simple form can be so complex and rewarding.
It really is. It's a testament to the power of brevity.
Mm.
Choosing each word, carefully crafting each sentence with intention.
And it speaks to our love of stories, right?
Of course, our desire to connect with characters, to experience different worlds, and to find meaning in the human experience.
And for you as a listener, you appreciate those aha moments, those insights.
Absolutely.
Short stories are a treasure trove of those.
They invite us to slow down, to pay attention, and to really engage our imaginations.
So next time you're looking for a meaningful read,
Yeah.
consider picking up a collection of short stories.
You might be surprised by what you find,
You might discover a new favorite author.
or a new way of seeing the world.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll even be inspired to write a short story of your own.
I love that idea.
That's a great point.
It's one thing to analyze and appreciate a story,
Right.
but it's another level to create one.
Maybe we've planted a seed for a future deep dive.
Into your own writing.
Exactly.
And, it really speaks to the accessibility of the short story form.
Mm.
You don't need to write a sprawling epic to tell a compelling story.
Right.
Sometimes the most powerful narratives are the ones that capture a single moment,
Okay.
a fleeting emotion, a glimpse into another life.
Like those perfectly formed gems.
Yes.
Small, but so intricate and beautiful.
What a perfect analogy.
Each one reflecting a different facet of human experience.
Short stories are like those gems, each one offering a different perspective, a different angle on the world.
I like that.
And because they're so concise, they're the perfect antidote to our information-saturated lives.
Our busy lives.
Exactly. You can savor a complete story, a complete experience in a single sitting.
So whether you're a seasoned reader or just starting to explore the world of literature,
Yeah.
I encourage you to dive into the world of short stories.
You might discover a new favorite author,
Or a new genre.
a new way of seeing the world. And you'll definitely gain a deeper appreciation for the power of language and the magic of storytelling.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the captivating world of short stories.
It's been a pleasure exploring this form with you.
And as always, we're so grateful that you joined us on this journey of discovery.
Remember, the world of literature is vast. There's always something new to discover.
A new story waiting to be told.
So keep exploring, keep reading, and keep those aha moments coming.
Until next time, happy reading. Yeah, that's a great idea. It's one thing to analyze a story, but to actually create one.
Totally different.
Right.
It really speaks to how accessible the short story is as a form. You don't have to write this massive epic novel to tell a compelling story.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most powerful stories are those that capture just a single moment, a fleeting emotion or a glimpse into someone's life.
Like a perfectly formed gem.
Exactly. Small but intricate.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Each one reflecting a different, a facet of human experience.
I like that.
They really are like gems,
Yeah.
each one offering a different perspective, a different angle on the world. And because they're so concise,
Right.
they're the perfect antidote to our, information overload.
Our busy lives.
Exactly. You can have this complete experience in a single sitting.
So whether you're a seasoned reader or just starting to explore literature, I highly recommend diving into the world of short stories.
You might discover a new author you love,
A new genre.
a new way of seeing the world. You'll definitely come away with a deeper appreciation for the power of language.
And the magic of storytelling.
Absolutely.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into short stories.
It's been such a pleasure exploring this with you.
It really has, and as always, we're so grateful that you joined us on this journey.
Remember, the world of literature is vast.
Always something new to discover.
So keep exploring, keep reading, and keep those aha moments coming.
Until next time, happy reading.